Hello, welcome to another piano lesson with Richard Yang. Today I'm going to talk about the long-awaited A Cruel Angel's Thesis from Neon Genesis Evangelion. This is the opening theme arranged by Animenz. And in the video description below, you'll find a link to my piano performance as well as the sheet music from the Animenz music store. Now, this is probably one of the most iconic anime opening themes, at least that I personally know of. I don't watch animes usually, other than One Piece. This is not supposed to be an overly difficult piece, but it's obviously it's not easy, but it's not supposed to be overly difficult. So there are a few pain points that after you overcome, this piece is not too bad. Just that personally for me it was pretty difficult because I'm rhythmically challenged, if you will, because my internal clock is not very accurate. So hopefully you can do better than me. So with that I'll start. The beginning, the arpeggio portion, very often you know from the Animenz recording you can kind of get the feel that it's supposed to sound very smooth, very wavy, so when you first play this, you might depend on your wrist movement to carry you through this, right? But that is not enough. In this case, you actually do need to put in a lot of finger work to make it clean. All right. So first of all, I'm gonna give you an idea of what it's supposed to sound like. That is well, first of all, I don't think this piano and with the iPhone mic it wouldn't turn out too well, but that is the effect that you want. And how do you get it there, right? First of all, so step number one, know your melody. Step number two, well, first of all, you have this broken C minor here. Obviously, you can play this, right? And the goal is to reach the your melody note, so you have to have a sense of direction, right? Not the opposite way. You want to go up, right? And so that is just another practice thing. And then now you can work on the individual sections separately. For example. And also, never forget about your melody is on your pinky. So that is on the right hand only, but I highly recommend that you practice with both hands because you need to have context in this kind of stuff, right? So I'm gonna play that probably slower than usual, and pay attention that you need to use your individual fingers to push the keys. Don't just let the wrist to carry the notes through, right? That's too lazy. Each finger needs to do its job. And here you can use 1, 2, 4, 5 or 1, 2, 3, 5. Right? I use 1, 2, 3, 5 because the next chord is very similar. So I don't need to move again. So. Practice at that speed, and then after you can at least do that part well, you'll find that when you simply increase your tempo, it would just sound great, right? Well, the key is that you can play these individual notes, right? You're not supposed to do this. it's not clear. It's like individual notes, you need to make them heard. So now, here. To prepare you for the theme, you need to have a mental idea of how fast it is. For example, if you want to go like da 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 da. So 1, 2, 3, 4 da da da. Right. So that's how you prepare for the next for the theme. The theme. So the theme, there are many components, many layers that you need to unpack. So number one, obviously, you need the right, need to hit the right notes, which I will go over. And second is you need to have the right touch. For example, I hear a few recordings that sounds like this. That's completely wrong, right? It just doesn't sound right. And you need to make it sound exciting, right? Right, so that's your touch. And now to get you there, you also need the very, very good pedaling technique in this piece. The pedaling in this piece is what I would consider definitely above average. It's slightly more advanced than other pieces because you need to do a lot of pedal change, and sometimes they don't really follow a certain pattern that I can really describe. So it depends on your experience, but here I'm gonna teach you at least the basic way to pedal to make this sound at least decent, okay? So now, starting with a note. Play that slowly through once first, and I'll go through all the way to before section A so you can watch the whole thing in one take. Slower. Even slower. So that's that. Now the touch. The touch, obviously, you want to, to make it right. The first simple part is to observe all the staccato notes, right? So, right here. And on the left hand, here. Right? So if you observe those staccato, then you will get that feel. I don't know why people ignore them in many of the recordings. That puzzles me. Now, on the pedaling. This is the difficult part. For example, I'll try to talk it through on how I pedal. I hope it makes sense. So this one, you might think that you don't need pedal, but yes, you do, because you need to give it a little color. If you don't have pedal on the first beat, it will sound pretty dry. For example, it may sound like this without pedal. But if I do a little pedal, it gives a slightly different tone, and I really like that tone. So you might not. So your pick. So pedal a little bit, and off, and staccato, pedal in, off, pedal here, and no pedal, pedal, and then off. Actually change. So you don't have pedal on the F, off, and then pedal here, let go, pedal, let go. No pedal here. I don't do pedal here. Pedal here for a brief moment, and let go with E flat. Pedal here. Right. So that may sound a little complicated, but that's the best way I can bring you through, because And what I've described would be what I consider the minimal requirement for pedaling. Because if you watch my video, I actually do even more changes in between, really fast. So it's not something I can really able to explain. Because a lot of pedaling, it doesn't really mean that on a certain beat you change pedal. No, you need to pedal by ear. To get the sound that you want. Okay. Now, before you get to this, this is extremely important. You want to first of all, you can do 2, 3, 4, 5. Personally, because there's a little crescendo there, I do 1, 2, 4, 5 to give you more power. But it may be a little more difficult because you need to change this to a C minor chord instead of just doing this. But this will give you more power. And you want to make sure you don't rush this, right? A lot of people just go, not even in time. You need to make sure that this is in time. Very important, okay? So now, the next section. So this is slightly more difficult now. So pedal down, up, and down a little bit, change, up, pedal down here, change, up, and down again, and up with the F. Actually, you can hold this through until here. Go down, up, down. Hopefully that's not too complicated. Yeah. So summary, watch my video and observe how I pedal. I specifically show my feet all the time so that you can see how I pedal to get the sound. Now here, this section contains one of my personal biggest pain point, right? So this is, first of all, this is fine. First of all, this you can do, I ended up using Animenz fingering on this, which is 1, 5, 2, 3, 1. Using finger number 4, right? So in the beginning, when I first learned this, my first instinct was to use this. But it turns out if you do that, a lot of times you will miss the clarity when you play very fast. And I used to do 5, 4, 3 on here, on this. And again, when you play fast, you can lose some sound. So just follow this, the fingering for now. So watch carefully. Now, the pain point I was talking about is this. This specific portion. And there are reasons for that because my recording is done on my Yamaha N1X. The keys are extremely heavy. So very often the F doesn't even play. I wouldn't even play. Right? On my Grand it's a lot easier to play, but if your keys are heavier, you'll be missing the F sharp. The F. And I finally figured out why and how to fix it. The why is that, for example, if you are for me anyway, my hands are much smaller than average. So when I play this, my finger is so close to the F, and sometimes you would touch the F. So F is almost like pre-pressed. So when you play the F, you lose a lot of the power because the key is already pressed halfway through. So when you play the F, you either miss the note or it doesn't just, it's either the sound is just smaller or it just doesn't sound at all. Right? So that's the problem with small hands. Bigger hands, I don't think you would have the same problem. Bigger hands would be nice. How to fix? Easy. Finally, I figured this out. When you play this, consciously move your pinky as far to the right on the G as you can, so that you don't have the F depressed at all. Right? Don't not touch the F, and so you can do that. or you can do 5-5. But for both methods, 5-4 or 5-5, you both ways you need to make sure your pinky is as far to the right on the G as you can. So this bothered me for so long, right? So I finally got it figured out, right? So, and also on the pedaling, there are certain pedaling that will make it a little easier. For example, here, you don't need to, because my hand is too small. I cannot cover this. I think Animenz I can actually do that in one go without moving too much. I can. So this portion is okay to hold the pedal down for the half measure. But make sure you go up here and then start a new pedal. Up here and down, up and down. Right? So if you pedal that way, that magically will make this sound a little, play a little easier. Okay, now. So I have pedal down and change on this chord. Well, actually, go off your pedal on this chord. Off, and you press the pedal starting about here. Change. Up, down, change. Up. Hopefully that makes sense. Section 8. Section 8 is just very simple, but you just need to count. And if you ever have doubt, right, you count like this. Da 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 da. That sounds so silly, but that's I literally do that to count. I'm rhythmically challenged, so I actually have to count. So, but I'm gonna go through this. This section is much easier now. I just go through once. I copy how Animenz does it. You make the E flat slightly detached, not staccato but detached here. The effect is pretty cool, right? So right? That sounds really cool. So you play a note and then make sure you lift off before you play the next E flat, right? You do need to make sure you get the rhythm right. Right? So make sure you follow that. Don't rush this. And here, play the E flat staccato. So here, the pedaling goes like this. Up, down, up, right? So, right? So, here you pedal on the second eighth note. Right? So your pedal will reflect the second eighth note in each half measure. that makes sense, right? So in full speed, this is really fast. So practice that. And you end up with this. So section C. So section C is the expanded version of the main theme, as I would call it, right? So this is the exact same concept as before, with a little change later on. So I will play slowly first. So this is just a slightly more involved than the theme from the beginning. So let me go through that one more time and I'll talk through some of the important stuff. In order for this to be easier to play, you can hold the pedal down here. Up, right? So that's the change here. Now, this time you have a full chord, not just a single note. So me personally, other than keeping so you still remember, keep your pinky as far right on the G as possible, so that when you play this, it can work. And if my hands are small, so 5/5 works better. If your hands are big enough, do 5/4. Right? I can do 5/4 on this piano because this is a lot light. The keys are lighter. It works better. The Yamaha N1X, that's way too heavy, so it doesn't work. So again, pedal down, up, pedal down, up, and down, up, and again. How do you play this? So when I first try to do this, first of all, you might find it a lot easier if you only play just the octave without thinking about this, right? But I personally, I thought differently, because in the beginning, I always had the tendency to want to think that I need to play the C minor chord with a G in it. So my wrist orientation is slightly different. Because in anticipation to play that chord, I have to do some aiming, and that slowed me down. So now the realization, the first one, is that you don't need the G, it's just the E flat. So, but that's obvious. So when you get up here, make sure that your wrist is rotated slightly counterclockwise, so that you can play this. Because if you're clockwise, then you can't reach. Well, I can't anyway. So make sure you rotate this way. And the next thing is that you observe the accented notes, right? These are accents. So if you play as such, it will actually be easier. If you try to think of them as staccato, if you try to think that way, it can go faster. And relax your wrist. I'm exaggerating, but it's like this, right? Instead of going like all the way down, that's not gonna work. You have to use a relaxed wrist for this. Right, so one more time. Completely relaxed. Right? Now, next, let me play this slowly first. So you can, it is probably fine to work, play left and right hand individually. I always like to practice together because you need context, right? So the the left hand you need to know is a oh sorry, these come together, just like the next one, right? And so you don't lose sight of this. Don't play. They come together, right? And right hand, you definitely need to work on the clarity, right? So focus on the right hand now. Right? You need to make both of these, all of these heard, right? The correct fingering, I think, is this. But for me, that turned out to be very difficult, so I used the alternate fingering. Right? So I actually, so that's just what I do. And so you need to, for example, this. Can you do that clearly, right? You don't want this, right? They need to be on at the same time. So I move my hand all the way over. So let's put that in context, right? I don't try not. You can do this, but it's not this. Well, first of all, it hurts more, and it doesn't sound as crisp as using your thumb. So my recording, I really think that I would have, I just need probably 1 more hour to come up with a much better, much cleaner take. But at time of that recording, I spent a whole hour. I probably did a glissando probably 20 times, so the skin was already you can see blisters coming, so I kind of had to stop. So I just ended up with the take that you listened to, right? So, right, so fingering, section B. Fingering is this. Well, actually, my fingering. I know a lot of people play different fingering, Animenz as well. I'm just teaching what works for me, okay? So the first part should be easy. And don't intend to play this legato. It's not, so aim for, but it's not exactly detached, but just it's not legato, right? Just keep playing straight up, clearly. You don't need to, it's not detached or staccato, but don't intend to make this legato. That's all I can say. Figure out the pattern, right? 3, 3, 2, 4. 3, 3, 2, 4. So if you think, it's all in the way you think, right? If you can think of 3, 3, 2, 4, it makes more sense. Now, this is the same, right? 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4. 3, 3, 2, 4. 3, 3, 2, 4. right, so the last rep may be a little confusing because because the changeover is with only 2 notes, it seems a little, not normal, right? So you have this, right? 1, 2, 3, It's a little strange, so it takes practice, right? And then, so section E. Now, I know the way I played it is completely different than the marking because the marking you have this. I personally, that confused me a little bit, so I do all this on my right hand. I personally think that's much easier and consistent, right? So so first of all, know the rhythm. Yeah, something like that. So let me go through the notes and rhythm. So that's really it, right? No further explanation required. Section F. Section F, this one, I really do apologize because the pedaling on this one is something I totally cannot explain because this is what I call, it is completely by ear. It's not, I don't use the pedal here, there, at the exact spot every time. It all depends on my ear, and it depends on what comes out of, what sound comes out of the piano, and I change the pedal accordingly. And bottom line, if you want to play this well, bottom line is use as little as possible. So you can practice without pedal first, then start to add pedal where absolutely necessary. All right, so I'm gonna do this without pedal just to show you the notes and what it's supposed to, sound like note-wise. Same again. So, so I can give you some tips, I guess. So if I were to play this with pedal, try to listen for it. It's really hard to talk it through. You can, so try to listen for whether or not I'm pressing pedal and see if you can hear it. Actually, I pedal there. So this section, spend some time. First of all, you need that clarity there, right? So once you have that clarity, you can start to add a little pedal to give it more color. If you can play it completely without pedal, that's totally cool. And clear, that's fine. But in this section, even though without pedal is totally cool, adding some will add a little more color to it to make it sound more fun. So, and this we already played, so I just get it through. Section G. So the upper hand, and I try. For this section, I highly recommend you do not practice 2 hands separately. You need to practice together because this one, if you play separately, the context is completely lost. But separately, it means that it's easy, right? you need to have that in context because this section you need to build in that have that Cruel Angels rhythm in it, right? So see, for example, let's do that again. First of all, it's a pianissimo, but I'm demonstrating, so it's a little much louder and the piano is loud. So remember, a lot of time your right hand, the melody will land on the second finger. For example, and always you have first of all you have a melody note landing on the second finger of your right hand. And they always end together. You know, left hand pinky, right hand thumb. For example, this. The second note. And together. Right? So that's why playing both hands together is very, very important here because you need to understand the context, right? Okay, see? So the left hand melody will match up with the second note on the right hand, and it will come off together. Right? So I'm gonna do that one more time. So paddling wise, for example, the last measure here, even though you will know that the note is actually a whole note, right? So that would almost mean that you don't change pedal here. But to me, it's too much. So for every middle in the mid measure, I always do a half pedal to let a little bit of the sound go, right? You don't want to hold it all down, nor do you want to lose it. Section H. Section H should be hopefully very easy. Section I. Section I is all, well, you need to have the clarity and so if you look at the fingering and practice slowly until you get there, that's the only way. Section I. Right, so observe the fingering carefully. So if you want to really break this down, right? Think 4 at a time. Well, actually, right? I think you can only break down, for example. So do what you can. You now know the fingering. Try to make it work, right? So you can break into groups of 4s. That might make more sense rhythmically. You know, when you play faster, if you can think in 4s, that's usually a little easier, right? Oh, sorry. something's wrong. Oh, there we go. And the melody is here, right? So make sure you bring them out. So hopefully that makes sense. Section J is the same thing as before. I'm just going to play over. So the glissando first one, you want to end around roughly. Don't go past the F, but it ends around there. You don't need to go way down, right? So. This part, the only new thing is this, right? Well, the only thing worth noticing is that you wanna. So I chose to hold my right hand on the G chord. I probably didn't need to, but I could handle everything with my left hand, so it's fine. But you need to make that sound. That's the cool part, right? So. So when you doing execution, you have this, and it just go very fast here, right? So one more time. And I don't do pedal here. I think I only do a little bit in the middle, but as little as possible. So let me do that a little slower. Hopefully you can catch it. Something's right. And this, especially here, no pedal at all. It's really clear, important to play this clear. And you can put a little bit of pedal here and change, and pedal here and change. Right? So. Oh, so here is a little different. Right? Or you can do. I personally do this. It's a little far, but this is not a hard jump. D crescendo as well. So this is just scale, right? And press the pedal there, and then now the end is like this. Section N, the ending. The ending is just fingering, so you just need to know the fingering, then you should be good. And the melody, right? It's worth noting that this is supposed to be just, I believe, just slightly slower than the beginning. So don't play this too fast, right? So I'll play that very slowly. And I think it's a mistake on the music. It's supposed to be an octave lower. Okay, so yeah, actually, I want to play it slightly faster because playing that slowly is a little unnatural for me. So. Pedal down, right? All the way through from here. And this section, it's just so that you know, it can be very confusing. So spend some time here. It will click eventually. So, and in any case, this is the end. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Goodbye. Until next time.